Well, nice to be here. Thanks for having me, Chris. Yeah, sorry about the beginning there. I did not have my camera properly adjusted. But yeah, glad to hear that you're well. And yes, please proceed. I'm so frazzled. Hello. Oh man, sorry, I got the giggles already. Yeah,
It's
I'll let
okay.
you talk now.
So, starting from the beginning, was I don't know if this would have been how you got into equity, but was the like opera documentary when you were 17, was that in relation to that, or
Oh no, yeah. Oh man, no one's ever brought up that before. Yeah, no, I was 17 years old, and there was an opera that they made at Glyndebourne Opera House, which is amazing opera house. Yeah, and it was an original opera based on a book, and I got to be in it, and it kind of changed the trajectory of my life. It was kind of the pivotal moment for me where I decided that I wanted to be a performer because I originally wanted to be an animator because I draw as well. But that was like, yeah, huge turning point for me. And yeah, thank you for asking me about that because that's one of my happiest memories of my life. And no one has ever really brought that up. So yeah, that's
oh,
really sweet. Thanks.
yeah.
Good times, good times.
Well, I wanted to say too that maybe you've gotten this before, but your cover of the Evangelion theme song is so amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Oh man, I still haven't watched Evangelion all the way through because it's like quite depressing and I'm like I feel things like really hard from like anime especially, so I always just like I'm like, oh man, I gotta watch it one day. But that song is it's so good, so I had to do it. But yeah, it's on my list to actually watch it all the way through because I tried and I was like, oh man, it's so depressing. I feel so sorry for Shinji, so I'm like, oh, definitely on the list. But yeah, I haven't really watched a lot of anime lately. Like, what's one? Have you watched an anime lately that you liked that you recommend?
Yeah, there's one that's about to end. That's a romance sci-fi called Kowloon Generic Romance.
Oh, yeah, I have got I know loads of people in that. It looks really sweet. I do need to check that one out because I really like the art style as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
a few of my friends announced that recently that they did the dub, so that's definitely on my list. So that looks really cool. So I got to check that out. So you've reaffirmed that I need to check that one out. Is it on Crunchyroll or is it somewhere else? Because sometimes they're on Crunchyroll and sometimes they're on like Amazon and stuff
I
or
think it's on
Netflix.
Netflix.
I was on Netflix. Oh, okay, easy, great. I have a Netflix account. I can watch it. Oh, awesome. Yeah, sorry, I got all off topic there, but yeah, thank you so much for saying that. I
No
really
problem.
appreciate it. Thank you.
So is there a special story of the job that got you into equity then?
Oh, equity? Well, equity, you like apply to be part of equity, if that makes sense. And
Okay.
it's kind of like not too similar to, well, it is similar to SAG, but it's like, I don't know actually. I guess it's a similar process. I'm not sure. Where you apply, and then I guess like if you've done enough by that point, you get like reviewed and accepted into it, kind of thing. Um, yeah, I just was like, here's all the projects I've done, and yeah, got into equity. So I'm an equity member, yeah.
What about uh, when you first started getting anime projects? How did that come about too?
Yeah, well, I mean, the anime that I've done, I mostly did during the pandemic because that's when
Okay.
like all the studios opened up properly. So they were like, oh, we could actually open things up. So I was very lucky to do the anime that I did during the pandemic. It was really, really great and I had a great time. But when obviously the pandemic, didn't go away, but you know what I mean, when it started becoming like okay to let people back in the studios and stuff, sadly, the anime auditions kind of phased out for remote talent, which was like, fine. Like it's much easier for anime studios to do stuff in house. So I totally get that. So I'm super grateful for the opportunities that I got. Anime means a lot to me and it was really great to do some of it, So I'm super happy for that. And, not a lot of, overseas talent get to do anime at all, really.
Yep.
So yeah, it was great. I was really pleased about that.
Did you take the dubbing easier or was it harder to get used to?
No, I mean, I don't find I don't want to sound like a you know, like an ass, being like, I find dubbing really easy, because it's not easy, but like I don't find it like a massive challenge personally, because I mean I used to do fan dubs back in the day like a lot of people, and I honestly do attribute that to being able to get used to dubbing like later on in life when I started doing it professionally. Because yeah, it's like, you know, people really do like go like, oh, I prefer, you know, sub over dub. And it's like, no, you need to appreciate like the effort that goes into dubbing a lot of these people, because, you know, it's a very like technical skill, and being able to like bring up the emotion that these anime characters go through at like the drop of a hat, as well as getting the timing right, like that's a skill, you know, so that has to be respected. Like even if you prefer watching, you know, the subbed version to the dub version, you know, you're allowed to have that preference. But as long it's just people who go like, oh, I don't like dubs and everything, it's like, no, you gotta appreciate at least the effort that goes into it, because everyone is so talented. And you know, I really massively respect my good American friends who dub anime. They do such a fantastic job, you know, they kill it every time. So it was great to be a part of that sphere for a little while.
This is a more vocally technical question, but so far, what do you think the case is that you've had to alter your voice the most for any role?
Ooh, I don't know really. I mean, I'm quite lucky in that my job, the jobs that I've done, they're quite I've done like low voices, I've done really high voices and everything in between. Um so it just depends really. I mean, for example, something like Lucy from Zenless Zone Zero is like at the very top of my range, you know, like Kurara from 100 Line Last Defense Academy. They're like the tip top of my range, you know, like I'm not as young as I used to be. I can't go like as high as I'd like to. You know, there's always going to probably be a limit to that, but I'm very grateful that like I've been cast for those types of roles. I think the Ojo Summer is becoming my my typecast, maybe because I'm British, I don't know. But yeah, lower voice stuff I've done. Probably like Major Rusalka from Warframe. She's like on the lower end. I can't really think of one in particular where I've like really, I don't know. I mean, World of Warcraft, like I that was also on my lower end, but they altered the voice. They made it even lower because she's like a spider monster. I can't remember the name of the faction, that the spider people in Warcraft, but you know what I mean. So there's stuff like that. But yeah, I'm pretty lucky that I've gotten to do like all different types. I can't think of what the lowest or the highest is at the moment, but that's the best answer I got. So hopefully that's a good one. Sorry, I'm so
Well,
giggly today. I'm all over the place.
well, do you have a process, if you've done many of them when you do boy voices?
Boy voices, did you say?
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like boy voices. I mean, I think this applies to a lot of the you know, adult feminine actresses who do boy voices. You know, it's just like you kind of gotta like make your voice sort of like when if I'm doing a boy voice, if it's in a British thing, it'll kind of be like a bit restrained, a bit more like, and if it's an American boy, it'll be like, I'm a little boy. You know what I mean? It's this is all these like vocal things where you make it a little bit more sort of strained, and it's like not. You know, real little boys don't exactly talk like that, but like in the anime video game world, it works kind of thing. And sometimes some productions just find it easier to get a more experienced, like adult female actress to do a young boy voice, as opposed to getting so like, you know, children talent in, because sometimes it's just easier to like you don't know what their schedule is. It might be harder to book the child in because usually their parents need to be with them as well, like they've got to be supervised. So sometimes like if something's on a time crunch, it's just easier to get an adult in to do it. So yeah, I've done like some young boy voices, you know, like Isaac from Mr. Hop's Playhouse. That was one. I've done you know, some anime like, you know, Waller, like little boy voices and stuff like that. So it's usually on the repertoire of, you know, adult actresses. So yeah.
yeah. When something like a metaphor came up, everybody else I've talked to that was a metaphor got to audition for everybody. Was that your case too, or?
Yeah, I actually didn't get to audition for that many roles. I think I did an audition for Yufa, and I did maybe one other character. But yeah, I got brought into it pretty early. I did audition for the narrator, but yeah, and only Yufa and another character. I didn't get to audition for that many. But yeah, the studio where we recorded Metaphor, I've been lucky to to record there quite a lot. They're really, you know, great team of people there at Pit Stop. You know, they're awesome. They're so chill but really good at what they do as well. So they always get like really good performances out of people because their directors are really good. That's where Baldur's Gate 3 was 99.9% recorded there. So they're just a great team of people, and I feel really lucky that I even got to read for that because I had no idea what it was. I remember I was trying to find out one day and I was like, oh, it's the new Atlas game, you know. So it's really cool because a lot of the time we do not know. Even when we book something, we don't know what it is until we go in and then they tell us. And then obviously the NDAs are there so that we don't tell anybody else because, you know, games are so under secret because they do all these big reveals now, you know, at the Game Awards and the Summer Games Fest. You know, everything has to be kept so secret. So I had no idea what it was. But yeah, I'm really glad, you know, it turned out to be an absolutely incredible game, and yeah, just really happy to be part of it. That's kind of what most of my answers are going to be. I'm just really grateful, really grateful.
Well, going back to zenless in that case, were you asked to sound like somebody else, or was it your own take on what to do with
Yeah,
the?
I did interpret the voice myself based on her character. Um so I kind of took what the character was and ran with it in my own way, and it just happened to work for them. You know, like I said earlier, like the Ojo Summer type is kind of something that I do quite often. So and she's really fun, and I think like as the process has gone on with Lucy, I've been able to sort of make her funny in her own sort of way. Like I've had a lot of fun with it, which is really great. So I've been able to sort of like keep her kind of cute and princessy, but at the same time she's got opportunities for really funny moments because the localizers write really great dialogue for that game. So it's a lot, you know, fun stuff to play with. Again, the directors on that project are great too. So yeah, it's just really fun. I love her.
Mhm. What about with your character in Grand Blue?
Yeah. Oh, Lunalu. Yeah, she's I found that really funny because I used to be like literally her when I was like 13, 14. Like, oh my God, anime, you know, like drawing and all that kind of stuff. So I really like, I think that's probably what landed me the part, is that I kind of like infused that with like my old my older teenage self, which is kind of what Lunalu is, because she's not like one of the playable roster. She's like the random character, so she's just standing behind the characters as you fight, and she's like, oh my goodness, my prince, you know, she's sort of fangirling on them in the background, which is very funny. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with that as well. That was very much my experience being a teenage anime fan and who also draws, so related to
Yeah.
her a lot.
Do you think you have a personal preference too on working on more dramatic projects over comedic, or no?
I think when it comes to me personally, I mean, first off, I'm literally grateful to be part of anything, but I do like roles that I can really sink my teeth into, and I also really like roles where there's a good synergy between me and the director, where they'll give me a bit of freedom and then they'll also steer me in the right path. Like those are the best kinds of projects for a voice actor, I think. Well, any actor really, when you and the director are in sync and you kind of really both understand the character. Because some of the worst sessions I've had is when like I try to kind of do something and then I'm being sort of like put into this box, but not in a good way, because like obviously I'm going to want to do what the client wants at the end of the day, like they have final say. But there have been some instances where it's like I want this and then I do that, and then, you know, as in I mean like the client's like, oh, I want this, and then I do what they want, and then it's still, you know what I mean? It can be a bit restrictive, but luckily that hasn't been my experience. Like barely, like I've only had like two projects like that probably. Um, but yeah, it's having that synergy is really good. That freedom to kind of, you know, emote as the character freely, and then the director likes it, and also, yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the best kind of projects where everybody feels like you're sort of in sync and it's going really well. You know, that's the kind of stuff I like personally. And obviously I like portraying a large, you know, range of emotions. I like it when characters go through different things and I get to do them being sad, happy, angry. You know, those are the most fun for me. I really like going across the emotional range. So yeah.
What do you think the darkest headspace you've had to go for a role so far is?
Oh yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, I've cried once in a session, and that was for a game called Saint Maker by Yang Yang Mobile. And the character just I did play the character, and I had to play her when she was like in her 20s and her 60s. So because it would go like into the past and then it would go into the present where she was like in her 60s. So that in itself, like she had a very, very sad story, the character, and it just hit home for me, a lot of it. And it was very, very dark. And they were very good about it. They were very conscious. So, they were like, do you need a break? Do you want to stop? Blah, blah, blah. And then I just kind of cried at one point. I think I was just tired as well. And they were like, oh my God, are you okay? Do you want to stop? And I was like, no, no, it's okay. Let's just use it. Like that. Let's use the crying. Let's use the emotion. And I also cried for a game called Remothered Broken Porcelain, which is like one of my first like protagonist horror games. I did cry in a scene for that, and you can kind of hear it. Like if you play the game, it's one of the scenes towards the end where she's like saying goodbye to someone, and I'm like, like I'm really like actually crying. But that's very rare. Like I think one of the things about doing this job is that you have to be able to like safely put yourself in the headspace of a character. You can't take it too far because we got to portray so many different emotions over such a large range of characters that if we felt deeply every single emotion that they feel, we would be a mess. So like part of it is learning how to do that whilst also taking care of yourself, if that makes sense. So I do try to give myself a break if it's been a bit dark, go and watch something happy or cozy and have a snack and, just chill myself out a bit. So yeah, that's a huge like important part of it, definitely.
How many characters that you've gotten to play across Genshin too? Did you really get connected to very many of them, or
In Genshin, did you say?
yeah?
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I've played about 16 NPCs in Genshin, so quite a lot through about three different lands, I think. So yeah, I think the one, obviously, like the largest NPC role I had was Callie Rowe, who was in the Fontaine patch, and she had that really sweet story.
Mhm.
With what's the name of the character? Is it Diana, the one that makes the drinks? Diona? Is it Diona? I
Diona.
can't.
Yep.
Diona, that's it. The way because she's the reason that Diona's drinks always taste good, and she had like a story with Diona's grandfather, and it was just really, really sweet. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry, but obviously I didn't, but I almost did. That was really, really nice. Just a very sweet story. I have a weakness for stories like that, where it's like two characters have known each other, for a long time and they reunite like, ugh, gets me every time. So that was very sweet.
With Genshin 2, have you gotten the opportunity to audition for any playable characters yet?
Yeah, yeah. I've auditioned for a lot of the playables. But it's the name of the game. I'm just happy to be part of it to begin with. And although being a playable would be nice, I'm very grateful to be a playable in Zenless. That's really great. Any of them really. So I'm grateful to audition for it too. Sometimes auditions are quite hard to get. But yeah, I've put my heart and soul into any audition I do, and but at the end of the day, it's the client's vision for a character. um and yeah, I've definitely auditioned for a lot, but it's all learning experience for me. And the people that they chose for the ones I auditioned for, I always heard them and I'd be like, fair enough. Fair enough, they sound great.
Yeah. Were you or were slash are you like a fan of Fire Emblem at all before you got into it?
Well, I will be real, I haven't actually played any of the mainline games. My first introduction to Fire Emblem was Marth in Super Smash Bros. Melee back in the day, like over 20 years ago. And then obviously like, Marth and Roy, and as it went on, they added more characters to Smash and then eventually added lots of them to Smash, So that kind of compelled me to sort of look into it a little bit. But yeah, it's a great franchise. I would sometimes watch the cutscenes from like Three Houses or stuff to sort of experience myself and familiarize myself with like what I call grounded anime game acting. Like those games are great examples of that. Everyone sounds very clear, the acting's very strong. It's just a really good example and learning for me. I learned a lot from it, so to end up in any of the games is very exciting for me, so I'm very pleased.
Was that also just a pretty general audition when it came through?
Yeah, just an audition. yeah, funnily enough, this was my first audition for that game, and I ended up like my first one and I got one of the roles. So I'm very happy. That doesn't happen often. I've had some games which are live service, which means they're continuous. And I've auditioned for, 50 plus characters and not gotten in. So to be on the opposite end and like book a character for my first audition for it was really great. And I was really happy about that. And I'd wanted to be in that game for like 5 years since I first heard of it. So yeah, it was great. I'm really, really grateful for that.
Was it Patrick directing you or somebody else?
No, I think I had Caitlin.
Oh, yep, yep.
Caitlin directed me. Yeah, and she was great. And she's got such a great voice herself. So even just her normal speaking voice is awesome. So it was a really fun session and I really, really enjoyed it.
In terms of developing the voice, was it just completely up to you to come up with it?
Yeah, well, they obviously like have a vision, for these characters, and on the sides, it was like they didn't obviously say who she was, but it was like she's a goddess, she's very regal, kind of what's the word? Can't think of the word. But yeah, very sort of relaxed, but she's not very emotive. So I would put quite a bit more emotion or a bit more power into some of my lines during the session, and they would be like, "Oh, can you pull it back?" Because she's not really like that emotional, during like battle and stuff like that. So that's why her lines are quite calm and like right on schedule. It's all very like I know the time, I know what's happening, I predict everything. So she wasn't like nothing was a surprise to her, if that makes sense. So that was like the main thing that we utilized going through recording was that yeah, she sees all, knows all, nothing's a shock.
Did you have a single favorite line of hers?
Oh man, I don't know. Oh, I actually don't know. I have no idea. Let me know if anyone who's watching. Let me know your favorite because I'm not sure. I like right on schedule because I'm quite a punctual person. I always arrive if I can help it. I always arrive to every session very early. I do believe in good punctuality and respecting people's time. So even just that aspect of her was really cool. So yeah, probably right on schedule. That's my favorite line because that's me. I'm right on schedule.
Yeah,
If I can help it.
it does sound like it's a pretty easy vocal tone to slip into for you too.
Yeah, I was a bit worried because sometimes when I go lower, my voice doesn't cooperate. And then sometimes I have days where I'll go low and it's much easier. And it's a weird vocal thing where a bit of vocal wear and tear will make your voice sound a bit lower and more comfortable in the low range. Like if I've done a convention and I've been speaking non-stop for like 3 days, the following week I'll have this nice low voice, even though my voice is a bit worn. So when we did the session, I was a bit like, ooh, my voice isn't very low today. But luckily the ones we recorded sounded okay when I listened back to them. So I was like, oh, phew. Because sometimes when you go a bit low, like your voice can crack or it can sound a bit awkward, like you're not supposed to be going that low kind of thing. So I was glad that for the session it seemed to be okay in the end, even though at the time I was like,
What do you think when you saw her design for the first time?
yeah, oh, she's beautiful. I really think the artists absolutely knock it out of the park. I mean, every character in those games is so stunning. I mean, like, is there any surprise? Yeah, she's gorgeous.
It's cool with the like her weapon being this kind of like glammed
The
out megaphone.
I love that. I think that's so great. I saw some artwork of that where she's like yelling into the megaphone. I thought that was so funny. So I love I love seeing weapons like that in games. Anything kind of unique is great. Very funny, very unique. She's awesome.
You seen anything of the fandom like simping over her?
I mean, who can blame them? She's so stunning, and she's very much the type of character that I love, sort of like Bayonetta-esque.
Yep.
Bayonetta is one of my favorite characters of all time. So any character who's adjacent to her, I think, is so awesome. So yeah, she's absolutely beautiful.
I think it is really cool that regardless of how far the story is going along in the Fire Emblem mobile games, like since all the original characters are based off of Norse mythology, you can kind of like
Mm.
find out what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna like tune into it now and be like, oh, this is really cool. Like I saw the trailer with all of them, and yeah, it looked amazing. It's such a cool looking game, and I mean, it's Nintendo. They always, you know, design the most amazing characters, and the music's great. So, yeah, very happy to be a part of it. It's my first Nintendo project that I've ever been part of. So that was a huge milestone for me as somebody who's been playing Nintendo games since I was a child. So I'm yeah, very pleased.
Was there much that you could personally relate to her about too, beyond the punctuality thing, or
I don't know, I wear glasses. That's that's one thing. I mean, yeah, like if I just love the design. I love the glasses. I love the what they call the glasses, the things you put in your glasses to stop them from
yeah,
falling off. I love those. Fashionista. But yeah, she's just a really nice sort of calm, regal character, which yeah, she's can't really say more. I mean, she's just yeah. It's always nice to like voice like really gorgeous characters. So yeah, It's- she's great.
have you started playing the mobile game at all?
No, I'll tell you what, I don't really play too many games at the moment because after I've finished work or come back from London recording or something, I don't tend to turn to gaming to like switch off. I usually watch something or, just chill out or, just rot on my phone. So I have been recently playing Elden Ring Night Rain with my friends, which has been very, very fun, even though it's frustrating that game, it's difficult, but it's been great to play that. I do enjoy Overwatch every now and then still, I've been playing that since it came out. So it's just like a fun, with your friends sort of game. I keep very up to date with the gaming world. So like I know what's out and I watch reviews and I kind of like watch, let's plays or so I'm not like completely ignorant to like what games are out there and everything. It's just playing them myself. I tend to not really get around to just because I'm, you know, too tired. And a lot of games are very emotional or I can get a bit overwhelmed when I'm gaming, if I'm not in the right headspace. So that's why I tend not to gravitate towards them to relax. But I prefer games that I can like play with my friends and, goof around in sort of thing, especially at the moment.
Is there something that you'd want to say to the Fire Emblem fandom then?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are awesome. I'm really pleased to be part of this game. It's been on my goal list for so long, so I'm so happy to be part of it. I've seen some great artwork of her and some funny memes, so I'm just super pleased to finally be a part of that game. So keep being awesome. Keep supporting the game and keep enjoying it. It's great. It's always nice to be a part of a game that's enjoyed. So yeah, it's awesome.
What do you think Heimdallr would say to finding out about like a fan base for her?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not sure because when we record them, like we don't really get to. Well, when I did a Hamdal, I didn't really get to delve into her personality too much because they have like set lines for like battle introduction and stuff. So they don't really have it. I didn't record anything that really delved into like her as a character. So trying to come up with some kind of improv. I mean, I guess she'd be very flattered. I imagine.
Yeah. So I suppose is the Fire Emblem mobile game probably like the safest thing you can talk about in terms of
Which
like
one?
well, like the current Fire Emblem game is probably the most safest thing you can talk about that you're part of in terms of like new things.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're always going to get this answer if you ask any voice actor, like, so what are you working on at the moment? We'll always go, like, NDA, NDA, especially for games. The NDAs are very restrictive. So I've definitely got stuff coming out, stuff I'm really excited about. I'm very lucky that to work quite regularly, I'm very, very grateful for that. And I love that I get to be a part of so many different things because games are such an art form. They're beautiful. There's so many great characters out there and music and setting. So I just absolutely love being part of it. So I'm really happy that I get to bring life to characters in the gaming world.
Well, my final question is always asking, what do you want your legacy to be?
Oh man, I would love I just want to be like a well-known, loved working voice actor. You know, I want to be akin to someone like Grey Delisle or Jennifer Hale, you know, just someone who's just known and respected in their industry for just being someone who works on lots of different things. Because I honestly, I love this job with my whole heart. Like, I'm so happy that I've gotten to the point where I've been able to do it full time for years and make a living out of it. You know, I'm so happy. Like, the people that I've met, the characters that I've gotten to voice, you know, I'm so lucky that I've gotten to voice such a large range of characters with even more to come. You know, it's I really honestly cannot stop being super, super grateful about it. And I would just love, yeah, to be known as someone who's in loads of different things, and I want to be doing this until I'm old and can't speak anymore. You know, so I hope that I have a good legacy, I suppose. I hope that people enjoy hearing me, and yeah, I'm just really happy that this is my life. So yeah, thank you for being awesome. I meet some lovely, lovely people, and I'm very, very happy and grateful for that. Sorry, grateful is like the word that's probably come up about 1,000 times in this interview, but yeah, it's all true. So
Yeah, thanks for willing to do this.
yeah, no, of course. Thank you for having me. It means a lot. I saw like how many actors that you interviewed, and I was like, oh, those are my friends. I want to do that. Yeah, so thank you. It means a lot to be asked for this sort of stuff, and thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, hope you have a good rest of your day then.
You too, Chris. Thanks, man. Take care. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy.